Let's be honest. Big Pharma looks like a fortress from the outside. Solid, ancient, and rich. But we just looked at the 2026 numbers, and we found a hole in their pocket the size of a crater. While the giants are busy building bigger meeting rooms, a few lean disruptors are quietly stealing the keys to the castle. This is the biotech renaissance, and today, we're showing you why bigger just became broken. Imagine you're running a restaurant. You're serving more people than ever, but your electricity bill and rent just tripled. That's the 2026 pharmaceutical industry. Global health spending is at an all-time high, but the people paying the bills are finally saying, enough. In this environment, we don't care how many pills you sell. We care about how much leftover change stays in your pocket after R&D eats its fill. Efficiency is the only flex that matters now. Here is the wow factor. Most of these giants made enough money last year to buy every single person in New York a Tesla. But look closer. Their growth is a measly 8.4%. It's like owning a Ferrari but driving it through a swamp. 35% of their money is disappearing into legacy costs, which is just a fancy way of saying they're still paying for old buildings and departments that haven't invented anything since the iPod was cool. They are rich, but they aren't winning. Let's look at the speed versus fat chart. BeOne is that 32% bar on the left. Why? Because they're a speedboat, while Roche is a cargo ship trying to do a U-turn in a canal. BeOne can deploy cash 1.3 times faster. In the time it takes a giant to get a meeting approved to discuss a new drug, BeOne has already run the trial and ordered pizza for the lab. This table is the DNA of the fight. Look at oncology. AstraZeneca is the king of volume, sure. But look at the growth rates. BeOne is growing its cancer business at 22%, while Lilly is stuck at 8%. It's like watching a teenager hit a growth spurt, while the adults are just trying not to pull a muscle. And in the rare disease sector, BeOne is growing 20 times faster than Lilly. That's not a gap. That's a different zip code. BeOne didn't just stay at home. They moved into the US market and started redecorating. 47% growth in America? That's unheard of for a disruptor at this scale. They did it by cutting out the middleman, those guys who sit between the doctor and the patient just to take a cut of the money. By building their factories in North Carolina instead of shipping stuff across the ocean, they saved enough time to make their competitors look like they're using dial-up internet. This graph shows how much bang you get for your buck in the lab. See that sudden spike in 2025? That's when BeOne stopped using humans for the boring stuff and let AI do the heavy lifting. While Big Pharma is still using manual biology, which is basically trial and error with a lab coat, BeOne is using generative biology. It's the difference between drawing a map by hand and using Google Maps. BeOne's oncology strategy is what we call owning the kitchen. Most companies buy their ingredients from someone else, which is expensive. BeOne owns the whole stack. From the DNA design to the diagnostic tests, they do it all in-house. This reduced their hiring time for clinical trials by 42%. In pharma, 42% faster means thousands of lives saved and a lot of extra house money for the shareholders. Let's check the pantry. How much extra grain do these guys have? Big Pharma is carrying 1.8 times more debt than equity. They're basically living on a giant credit card. BeOne, their debt is tiny. 0.4x. This means, when a cool new startup appears, BeOne can just buy it with the cash they have under the mattress, while the giants have to go ask the bank for permission. Here is the flight plan. We're in 2026, the peak of the US takeover. But look at 2030. That's the holy grail, the first blockbuster drug entirely designed by a computer. No human oops moments, no wasted years. If they hit that, the current giants won't just be slower, they'll be obsolete. This donut chart explains why BeOne's bank account is so healthy. 65% of their products are homegrown. In this business, if you invent it yourself, you keep the money. If you rent it from someone else, you have to pay a royalty tax that eats your lunch. BeOne is eating the whole lunch, the dessert, and the leftovers. And for the do-good crowd, this isn't just about hugging trees. BeOne's health equity programs in Africa are actually future-proofing. They are building markets where no one else can go. It's smart business disguised as a good deed. Plus, they'll be net zero by 2035. In 5 years, if you aren't green, the big pension funds won't even touch your stock. BeOne is already there. So what's the verdict? 3 reasons to pay attention. 1. Their profit potential is supreme because they are lean. 2. Their lab is a speed machine, thanks to AI. And 3. They talk directly to patients, cutting out the grumpy middlemen. If you're still betting on the old giants just because they're big, remember, the dinosaurs were big too. Look how that ended. I'll leave you with this thought from our executive summary. In the age of biological data, agility is the new scale. Being big is a liability if you can't move. In 2026, the winner isn't the guy with the most labs. It's the guy who gets the cure to the patient while the other guy is still filling out paperwork.